All right, howdy friends. So this is just a very quick walkthrough of what this thing is and what I've done to it. So it is the Altec 230B tube mixing console. It has 4 microphone preamps built into it and 2 line level transformer isolated inputs, and each of those mixing inputs has 2 selectable inputs, so there are 8 total microphone inputs to this thing. You can mix 4 of them at one time. You can send those to 2 outputs, the program output or the audition output. Now originally, the audition output would be routed to your monitoring system in studio speakers, etc., etc. I have reconfigured this guy to give 2 line outputs, the program line and the audition line. But they are both line level outputs, which can be fed into a compressor or into your digital or analog to digital converters, yada, yada, yada. And the same switching options are available: 2 line level inputs, 2 outputs for the line levels. Now each of those summing buses, the program bus and the audition bus, have a booster amplifier and then a master gain control. So we've got the program gain here, we've got the audition gain right here, very nice stepped attenuators. And then each of those has a line output. Inside you can see this grouping of 4 tubes back here constitutes one of the line output amplifiers. There's one, there's the other, the output transformer, the 4 tubes. We have 4 of these little mic preamp stations, input transformer, 5879, filter cap. For those, and those wires all got rerouted. You might notice, if you've looked inside of one of these before, that this is different. And that is because I had to design a new mounting bracket system. Originally, there would be a bracket mounted right here that hang down and allow this uni-chassis with, I think, something like 14 tubes on it to hang down from the faceplate. Over time, it got weak, it broke, it fell off. That will never happen again. I've made these 2 aluminum blocks that the whole thing mounts on, and I've been very careful to route these wires in such a way that I can undo these screws, lift this up, and have it facing on its side or turned all the way upside down so that I can service this thing for decades into the future. There is kind of a neat little cutout over here. It's kind of a little hard to see, but this group of wires right here constitutes the B plus chassis ground, B minus, and the filament heaters. And that all mounts on a little terminal board down under here. It's really hard to see, I apologize. That terminal board is on the bottom side of the chassis. And this was a really hard problem to solve at first, but the solution was this, a little cutout. Where that terminal sits, all the wires are clear, and we have no danger of shortage. Yes, designing and fabricating those brackets took me a long time. Also, yes, when I received this machine for restoration, none of those filter caps were there, none of the tubes were here, and there were missing parts, namely like cathode resistors and a line output. So I had to do a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of guess and measure, and we've got values in there that are giving us really nice output, really nice waveforms. Here you can see all of this stuff in here. The switching for input and output on each channel, these really nice attenuators, Davin attenuators, And then along here, you can see our 100K mixing resistors for both of the mix buses. All of that runs along this thing, and then those wires come down and feed into the uni-chassis. We have line outputs going out, and I have reconfigured the VU selector button off, monitor the audition bus, monitor the program bus. This would originally check to make sure your relay 12 volt DC voltage was good and your plate voltage. I've left these disconnected. It's generally not something that somebody in a modern recording studio is going to do. I've also removed the relay system because we are not using the talkback and the speaker muting relay system. It's pretty complex. It's really neat. I traced it all out. I have written it down in my notebook. And anyway, yeah, that is essentially the what it is and what it does. And now I just want to let you peek at the back here because this is pretty wild. Let me grab my shop light here. Okay, so I also made this box which has all of our outputs. So we've got our audition output. We have a full level output and a padded output. Same thing for the program output, full level and pad. That's a bridge pad. It's, you know, significant. It's probably 20, 30 dB, a lot. And then we have our 4 line level inputs right here, L1, L2, L3, L4. All of that feeds out the side here and down to the back where we have these beautiful terminal strips. We have the 4 line level inputs right there. We have the 8 microphone inputs right there feeding from the snake. And then we have our 2 line level outputs, which of course go to the output box. Now, I think that's pretty much it. Over here you can see the power supply. The old CAN capacitors were fine. Tested good on the ESR. It's been given good, clean, quiet power, and so it's going to stay. This unit did come with a backup power supply, which I might encourage the owner to let me go ahead and recap as a backup. You know, if ever these filter caps go, it'd be really nice to slide that old power supply out and slide a recapped one in, lose no time in the studio. You'll also notice if you've looked inside one of these before, it is missing the relay power supply and the line to speaker output transformer. Once again, this client is not using that stuff. It would have taken up current and space, added heat in regards to the power supply, and so all of that stuff went. It's in a box. It's going back to the client. I think that's about all I have to say about this for now. It was a huge project. I really enjoyed myself working on it, and I am excited to deliver it tomorrow. This is going in a studio. Some awesome music is going to be made with it, and yes, I'm very excited, very proud. Thank you all very much, and I hope you have a good one.